Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me today on this wonderful Thursday. I'm Simple Coach, and this is Jackie right next to me. No, that's Nicholas Petru. It's the new show. So I did all this preparatory work, and I've decided, because I'm the host, that we're not doing anything that I had prepared for. And instead, we're going to dedicate the whole new show to discussing bad referees in high school soccer. I mean, because it is front and present. My team lost two ridiculous calls that led to 2 goals. I even told the referee congratulations on his brace, his 2 goals. And yeah. So, anyhow, Mr. Petru, newly minted, battling bishop. How are you today?
I'm good. Looking forward to getting going here.
All right. So I mentioned this to you earlier, but I'm going to let everybody know I have a purpose in what we do today. First, I want to talk about polls rankings. Then I want to talk about some players because I was doing some interesting analysis. I mean, when I talk about the goal scorers, it is vintage Paul Newman stuff. Like, people are going to be like, Paul Newman would have come up with that, not Simple Coach. And then I want to do a Thunder round because I'm going to trademark Thunder and round because everyone does a lightning round, but nobody does a Thunder round. So it's going to
Can I just ask you if that middle one has anything to do with Sebastian Londano or Erman Makic?
It does about yes. 2 of them. Two. That's the interesting thing. 2 of them. So we can compare notes. That will be fine.
No, but if we both came up with that, like, that's
I told you. It's unbelievable.
Morristown, New Jersey. Is that where you are? Are you producing out of Morristown, New Jersey?
No. I'm 45 minutes away. But it is classic. This is classic. This is all you. All right, so let's just jump right into the player stick. All right, let's just do that. So I was looking at players. I'm like, hey, I got to come up with something. Let me look at the players. Let's look at the goal scorers. And did you know that the number 1 goal scorer in Division 3 right now is, do you know?
Sebastian Londano.
Of St. Elizabeth.
Freshman out of Norristown, New Jersey. No, that's where the school is, right?
Yes, Morristown. St. Elizabeth is in Morristown. Right?
Oh, I got it. Oh, no. 5'9" Frosh from Hackensack and Bergen Catholic.
And Bergen Catholic, yes.
Yep.
Who's number 2?
Well, first of all, can you tell me what the answer to his question is in his bio? What do you like best about soccer?
Cannot. I fully confess I cannot.
All right. This is his answer. Scoring. He leads the nation with 14 goals.
He leads the nation with 14 goals.
All right, number 2.
Number 2. Who's in second place?
Second place is fascinating because he's in second place both in goals and assists. So I got to give him a little bit of a nod, but that is Erman Makic, a Frosh out of Yonkers who goes to SUNY Purchase.
Correct. Purchase College in Purchase, New York.
Is it called Purchase College or SUNY Purchase?
I think they call it Purchase College, but it's a SUNY school. So
okay.
And if you've ever been to Purchase, you realize purchasing things in Purchases can be very expensive.
But yeah, that was amazing to me that they're both freshmen.
Yeah.
St. Elizabeth is like 7-1-1 and like from 2000. 2016 to 2018, they were 4-47-1.
Yeah.
And they have a new first-year coach, Alfonso Nunez Perez.
So you know who was third or who was like second? When I was looking at the rankings today, I had
Your guy Amir.
Amir Lukovic with
Yep.
with 13 goals. So he was tied with Ermin, the guy from Purchase.
Yep.
But I didn't care about all that stuff. I thought what was interesting is that all three of them are within a 50-mile radius of each other. And here we have the three biggest goal scorers. And that was my Paul Newman, Nicholas Petru moment where I'm like, wow, 50 miles. How remarkable that the leading goal scorers of the country are located in that tight area.
This is actually, can I just interject? I know you've got a whole protocol here, but
No, we're protocol's out the window, man.
I want to do this throughout the segment whenever I sort of feel like, this is a good time for one of our new features, the Simple Coach Paul Newman mailbag. And it just so happens, since you were mentioning New Jersey, Sally from Lincoln, Nebraska wrote in, and I think this is for you.
Is this legit?
Yeah. What is the best service area on the Jersey Turnpike?
You know what? I'm going to I actually think the best one is the one that you drive past. It doesn't matter which one, as long as you keep on driving. And then the best stop is to probably get off on one of the exits and find a place. Like, I would say that. I find them, I never go to them because I find them absolutely horrendous.
No, but when you've been driving for 6 or 7 hours, they look like an oasis.
Yeah, so what's the one called that I go to? I think it's on, I'm going to have to look. I'm going to have to do the research.
No, I know. I used to know them all by heart, and now I can't remember anything.
NJ Turnpike. Sally from Nebraska. I mean, what a lady. Rest stops. Clara Barton, is that one?
Clara Barton is one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Clara Barton. And the only reason why I know that is because Clara Barton, historical figure, Civil War. Like, so I remember these things. So it's like, that's my favorite by default.
No,
The Howard Stern one is absolutely atrocious. Or it used to be. I think they've basically gutted it now. And
I don't ever remember even seeing that. But they do a good job with the names. So anyway.
I think the
Resume.
Howard Stern, the Howard Stern one has a, the Cake Boss.
The Cake Boss.
The Cake Boss. He's on TV. He makes cakes. In Hoboken, he had a really famous bakery, and he made like these super ornate wedding cakes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he has a. I think it's at Howard Stern. They have a Cake Boss vending machine that sells you slices of his cakes. And I thought there could not have been a worse thing ever invented was a vending machine that sold you Cake Boss cake slices. So, anyhow, we're totally off that.
I know, we got to get back or we're going to lose viewers.
Let's roll in. Let's go to the rankings, my friend. Would you like to go there?
Sure.
All right. So, I mean, this starts off as a question, and I'll just sort of lay it out. There's 4 really rankings, right, in Division 3. Well, in all divisions, but we talk Division 3. But so there's 4 of them. There is the United Soccer Coaches Top 25. There is the Massey ratings that technically ranks all 412 or whatever the number is teams from 1 to 412. There is the D3 board fan poll. Let us not forget that wonderful poll that comes out courtesy of J.K. Nezik. And then there is the most famous one of all. And the one that's the pinnacle is the Simple Coach Top 25s that comes out. And so I'm going to ask you, why is the Simple Coach Top 25 the best of the rankings? And which one is your favorite?
Well, aside from yours, I'm not sure. I think the best one at this point is the fan poll, which I've had some disagreements myself with how some of it came out. But
can I tell you something? I agree.
Yeah.
I think the fan poll is the best one. I think there's the most serious, unbiasedly biased poll out there. I think that's legit. Like, I look at that and I disagree with some of it. I'm like, who voted for them? Like,
Yeah.
I can understand that, but like the United Soccer Coach one is comedy, right? To me, is just comedy.
Yeah. No, I think the fan one is the one that most closely kind of approximates the D3soccer.com poll before it
Yeah.
went off into the sunset.
Yeah.
So,
Although you do.
yeah, I've
still
already
have
gotten
outliers.
myself in enough trouble on the polls.
You did. You did. You have to learn how to communicate better on a message board. All caps. From now on, type in all caps. Everyone will totally understand you.
We got so much. There's so much content here. Like, I wanted to talk about your trip to Rochester and like all kinds of stuff.
Come on, fire
No,
away.
no. That's like back burner. But
Okay.
go ahead. So fire. Go.
All right.
Yeah.
So I was curious about the rankings. If you were to choose, I can't. If you were to choose your five, do you have 5 players that you could name that you would think would be Player of the Year candidates so far in the first month and change of the season?
Nice. I'm going to answer that sort of 2-part way. One is it's very close to a question I was going to ask you, which
nice.
was pick or rank order these: Lukovic, Fatiga, Chris Shaw, Akantade, Hakeem Morgan, and your other Galman.
Yeah. So.
And then you've got Toddy Alaman at St. Thomas, and I love the name Nathan Donovan out of Eau Claire. He's number 3 with he's number 3 with 12 goals.
Yeah. Can I just tell you? I think there's a clear number 1 in my book. There's a clear number 1. Victor Gallman.
Yeah.
At St. Olaf. That kid's impressive, man. Like that game, the game against Carlton. I think is that how you say Carlton? Carlton.
Carlton. Yep.
Carlton. He's different league, like reminds me of Grudolf last year at Messiah in the midfield. He's a different level. And I would argue, like, the close number, I think I would go with number 2, Akintande, and then maybe Fatiga Morgan. I'm not sure there. Mm-hmm. That's where it starts to get really, really tight for me.
Yeah. So you're preferring. Yeah, Gallman's more. I mean, he's obviously lethal, but he's more of a playmaker than some of those others
correct.
are sort of pure. Well,
Correct.
Akintani is a playmaker, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But he's a general. Like, and I like those guys. Those are the guys that really do it for me. And it's funny, every time I try to watch, I'm all hyped up, Mary Washington, Messiah, ooh, ah, and it's pouring, and you can't tell anything about any of those players, because they're just dealing with so much slop. But yeah, so I was gonna say actually I only have 3 players of the year, so 3 players.
Excuse me, I got to get back into my purple.
Outstanding. So is the notion that you're keeping the color, but you're just changing the name because you have a lot of purple in your house?
By the way, how tall do you think Edmore Cat is?
He's got to be like 6'5". Either that or he's like 4'2", and his son has come out.
Yeah, I'm guessing 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
Whenever I see him, I'm gonna run the other way.
He's gonna put his hand on your face and just squeeze.
Oh my God, he's gonna give me a hard tackle and
Oh Lord, I don't know where you're getting these shirts, man. I really don't.
No.
I am taking a picture, and I am going to take a picture because I don't want anyone to forget this moment. And then I'm going to figure out a way to post it on the boards. Oh, Lord. Wonderful. So I have 3 guys that I thought were players of the year material. Like true, legit, like different level. 2 of them are very clear, and that's Amir Lukovic, who I think is just looking outstanding.
Yeah.
I thought last year the guy was a shadow of himself, and this year he's on fire. Victor Gallman, who in my book right now is probably the best midfielder I watch, and then because he was player of the year last year, and I think he does a lot of work for them, and it is Matt McDonald at Messiah. He's not scoring the goals, but man, does that guy work. Creates a lot of opportunities for that Michael Lee, who's the guy, their leading scorer, does a lot of work for him. Mm-hmm. So those are my 3.
Now he's super talented, but he really, really competes.
Yeah, and I think that's what they need right now. They need that guy who's just going to barrel over guys. So, all right, let's shift over to a topic of your choice.
Okay, well, speaking of, since we were in the, let me just double check. I don't want to miss something incredible here.
I see something incredible already. You wearing an Amherst shirt. I mean, I don't need any more incredible than that.
By the way, there were, I don't know if you caught them yet since you were at the game, but 2 big games. John Carroll snuck by North Park.
Yeah, I saw
that.
And
Chicago and Calvin tied.
They did. See,
yeah, 1-1.
We have it recorded that you said that my only mistake is going to be me not thinking so highly of Chicago. Here's another example.
All right, one more quick question out of the mailbag, and then you got to give me one more after that.
Okay. All
right, this is from Jimmy in Caribou, Maine.
Caribou, Maine. I didn't know.
And Jimmy asked if you could interview for a coach-to-coach interview Greg Berhalter, would you ask him about the Reina controversy?
I would. And my first question would have been like, when you hit your girlfriend at the time, how drunk were you? That's terrible.
You mean his wife?
His current wife. Yeah. I don't know if he hit. I don't know any of that. That's what you hear. But yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would totally do that in a nice sort of way, passive aggressive sort of way.
Yeah.
Obviously it wasn't that big of a deal, right? Married to her, so I mean that does. I mean that's that does speak levels to the more about the Reynas than I think to the Berhalters. But anyhow, before we get off
Right.
too far.
All right. So, least amount of fouls and the most fouls. The least amount in the country is Coe College in Iowa with 2.12 fouls per game. Like,
Coe College?
yeah.
Do they just let themselves get run over by the opposition?
They must. Johnson State has 3.14, and then number 5 is Warren Wilson at 3.8 fouls per game. The highest, so there's 410
410, yeah.
ranked. Number 410 is North Carolina Wesleyan, then Plymouth State. Then, these surprised me, North Park at 408, Babson at 407, Cortland 403, Middlebury's 393, Trine, who just injured some of my Kenyan players, is at 389, Amherst is at 381.
And Amherst only played, 6 games? 7 games?
Well, I think they do it on that, so they're at 13.43, which is probably pretty low for them.
Yeah.
So that was
You're such an Am hater. I'm serious. I was serious. Like, does Coe, allow the opposition to run over them? I gotta say, I'm gonna have to interview the coach. We're gonna have to do a simple coach interview with the Coe coach because they're 5-2-2.
Who is?
Coe College.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, ask them how they're doing it without the fouling.
Yeah.
By the way, did you know Babson beat Amherst today?
Yeah, I saw that. That's why I just saw the score. Did you watch the game at all or no?
I didn't. I saw that Amherst was up 1-0 like in the first half, and I figured, they'll just sort of see that out. But
yeah. They're another one. There's something not sparky about them this year. Maybe all the Am hating is getting to them. I don't know. But they just don't seem as, I don't know. Last year, they were tough as nails. They just don't strike me that way this year for some reason. I don't know. Or maybe it was just today. Rainy Wednesday in Amherst. Is that where it is? I don't know where.
yes,
it is.
Amherst, Massachusetts.
In Amherst, Mass. Hey, I do want to ask you a question that I think I've already made a decision on, but if you were to choose a coach of the year, could you choose one? And who would that be?
Geez, first of all, I would have had to do some research about who the coaches are for those. I'll tell you the schools that my gut reaction schools that come to mind.
Okay, that's perfect.
Widener, Lebanon Valley, Texas Lutheran,
Very good.
McAllister and Carleton, Wartburg, UW Platteville, New Paltz, I guess Plattsburgh too. They tied today, I think.
They did, yeah.
And you got to give, there's every year there's sort of two things you can count on, but you can count on the first one a little bit more is Oneonta.
Yeah.
Every year they're number 8 to 10 in the country. They just win and win and win.
Yeah.
And the other one is next year you can look in Montclair, it'll either be somewhere between 9 and 13.
Yeah.
But
They're that close to that top tier. Can I tell you already my coach of the year? Like,
Sure.
if I were voting, like, have you ever watched Draft Day?
I don't remember.
Oh, the movie? Forget it. Vontae Mack, no matter what.
We don't do well with the movies.
No, we don't. We're not connecting there.
And I want to put an alert out for people to watch The Precious Gemstones.
Okay. I've never heard of that. I didn't know it was a thing.
I know you're not going to look.
Does it end? Or is it one of those interminable ones?
No, it's interminable.
Oh, geez, forget it.
How about the Great British Baking Show? That has that actually goes on all season too.
British people bake?
I love cooking. I love cooking shows.
Hey, so my coach of the year.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how significant this was, and you could just pack the bags on this one, set it, forget it. No one else needs to compete. Duncan Gillis at Caltech. Caltech is 5-1-1. I looked back on their stats. What are the most number of games they've won in a single year?
2.
4. And that was like 2015 or some I think you got to give this guy give it to him, hands down.
No, that's I knew they had not been losing every game. I didn't realize they were 5-1-1. But can you imagine trying to recruit to that? I mean, I think they only have 600 or 700 students.
I just thought like it would be quite impossible to go to school there. Like how do you get guys to that school in any sport?
No, if I just went there as just a regular person playing no sports, I'd have to do the whole thing like from a psych ward or something like that. I'd put places like Caltech and like Swarthmore and
yeah, just a different.
They're like that's too much.
Yeah. MIT, I think MIT's a little bit like that.
MIT.
What is it? It's Caltech, MIT, and what's the other impossible?
Harvey
school?
Mudd.
Is that them?
I don't know what they do at Harvey Mudd, to be honest. But I thought
there's like 3 schools that are just totally out there. Like you have to be. You already had to have landed a rocket on the moon by the time you were 15 if you wanted to, get accepted to one of those schools.
No, when you're that smart, it hurts.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That was me. And then I went to Mount Union and I lost it all. All my brain cells went out the window. All right, so I got to ask you. I'm going to interject here with a Thunder Round question.
Okay.
Because this is the 2 weeks ago when we did the quote unquote lightning round, and we were done with our show. I hung up, and this was the first thing I wrote down. The first thing I wrote down was, "Hey, I'm going to do a Thunder Round, and this is the question I'm going to ask." Who makes more money on a given day? Simple Coach and his YouTube influencing, or a panhandler in New York City?
Are you bracing yourself? You know what? I don't think it's a close call right now, but I feel like you're this close to completely breaking through.
Yeah.
And you're going to have your own show like on ESPN.
No. I got to look. If I have to be like some of the guys I'm watching on ESPN right now, forget about it. Yeah. There's no way. There's no.
But you're getting ready to.
launch into the
Yeah.
stratosphere.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, it's true. I was offered to become a squeegee guy at one of the crossroads in the city. Like the light stops and I go clean the window. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, can you give me a buck? Yeah, I'm graduating. All right, so that was silly, but I do have a second one that I wrote down that I have to ask.
Okay.
What psychological affliction would you say a YouTube influencer who focuses on Division III college soccer suffers from?
Idiosyncratic disorder.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that means, but I'll look it up. I will.
I just made it up. So.
For a friend.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded official, so you're my resident psychologist, psychotherapist guy. I don't know. Another one. Are you retiring to Gambier, Ohio? Maybe that was a mailbag one. That was
that is a good mailbag one.
That would have been a good mailbag one.
That's a very interesting question because in my mind, I mean, I'm not going to, but in my mind, I would absolutely love that.
Why wouldn't you? Because you have other considerations.
Just living in that little village campus, which is all blended together, and like getting up in the morning and walking down Middle Path and going to the coffee shop and talking, getting into some stuff, with some of the professors and.
You'd be knocking on Travis Wall's office at like 8 a.m. Like, are you in there? I want tactics.
They wouldn't be able to get me out of his office. But yeah, I mean, it's weird how. I guess that's weird how love is. Like, I can't even explain why. Out of all the places I've seen and all the college trips and all, for some reason Kenyon just has like a. I mean, obviously part of it is my son went there, but I wanted him to go there.
Yeah.
So
I don't look. I see it every time I do some of those Fields of Dreams. I kind of look at these places and they're like, just gems, right? Like you don't find these places where I'm at, right? Like they're all of a sudden you're driving down the road and here you're upon a town that has a small school and it's tight knit and it's part of the community and the community is part of the college or the university. It's something special. I think
the colleges and universities and the America is like one of the great things about America.
I don't that is very true. It's one of the big things I always say. Like you can argue anything you want about education, but there's still nowhere on earth that comes anywhere close to college university system in the United States. Not even close. Like there's not.
I mean, I'll admit when I saw the name Sebastian Londano and I saw it was St. Elizabeth University, I'm not sure I've ever even heard of St. Elizabeth's University. And then I went on the website and like some of the pictures of the school and the buildings was like gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
I haven't been up there. What's funny is I used to have an office in Morristown and I just never, it wasn't at the time. It's a different world time for me. So, but it is definitely on my radar to get up there one of these days. I got to get out of my.
Oh, and maybe this is a good spot to just throw in 2 words on Rochester, like, because it does take so much flack, but I loved Rochester for my daughter and that area. I mean, honestly,
beautiful.
It does get really, really cold.
Yeah.
But there's that area and the Finger Lakes and parts of, Rochester, the city itself is, not as bad as people, like there's some really nice things about it. Great university, medical center. There's a lot in that part of upstate New York that is vibrant, more vibrant than people think of.
So insight into my world, right? Like I think I've told you this. Like I work in technology. I work for a company that sells technology to many to any nonprofit we have technology for, and I specifically work for I sell into the Catholic Church. That's what I say. So Catholic Charities, and I went up to the Diocese of Rochester, and I'd been up there a number of times talking to people, and then and everyone there is. This is going to sound weird, and I don't know, and it probably offend a lot of people, but it's it's the one place where I felt like the people reminded me of the people I've experienced in Colorado, not because of their personalities, but because they love to be outdoors, they love to go biking, they love to go on the trails, they love to go to the lakes. The Genesee River has a huge trail. It's packed. Like that's what Rochester reminded me of. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's great. If you go 5 miles down that road, you hop on this other thing, and next thing you know, you're in the middle of nowhere, and you're just riding around hills, and So I'm really impressed with Rochester. The university itself is seriously stunning.
Yeah.
Like, it is probably hands down one of the most beautiful places I've been to. And just, I mean, it's immaculate. Like how they keep that place. It was just, it was immaculate.
Yeah, the library, I think that's the big building in the quad, but it's just stunning. But yeah, it's, and I also sort of like to kind of reverse elitism, like that it's sort of a little understated, and it's like, I thought you were getting ready to say, oh, it doesn't have a lot of the New England snobbery, but which it actually doesn't.
It didn't strike me as that. Like,
once you get to like Rochester, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, like
it's lost. Like there's too much there's too much rust at that point that starts to creep in those areas. Right, sort of wears down I was, like I said, for as much stick as we do give them, I thought the University of Rochester itself, and Rochester, the city, I think it is a neat place. Like, and I can see why people live there. You know what I mean? Like, it's, and the university, like, I could see why, that would be a great place to work, right? Like, the facilities are outrageous, right? So.
If you can handle the cold and sort of, there's a lot of gray time, but
and I said this without charging the University of Rochester for those endorsements, by the way. That's my olive branch to the women's team. Maybe they will unban me from X or Twitter, whatever we call X now. So. All right. What else you got?
Why don't we close with like a couple of games we think we should focus on this weekend?
Oh, certainly. Hang on. The 29th. Okay. Do you want to go first or you want me to? I have one game I'm looking at.
Oh, well, I'll go first.
Go.
I'm going to go with sort of sleeper. I mean, there's a couple of obvious ones that are, we get sick of saying their names over and over and over, but I think this Keene versus Stockton. Keene's 5-0-3. Stockton's 4-0, and they're both undefeated. That's a big NJAC matchup.
Yeah.
And then I would say Milwaukee School of Engineering versus Dominican, those are usually the two top teams vying for first place. And then I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Case Western at NYU and whether NYU is just completely done or they have like a
They look
dead
funky,
cat
don't they?
bounce. Or,
They look kind of weird. They something's off there. It's funny because the men are doing. The men are the men, and the women are doing really, really well. You know, I think they're undefeated.
oh, that's it.
Yeah. The women
Before
are.
you tell me your game, this is an interesting question. How hard, honestly, because I think it's amazing, like, that you've done this. Like, how hard has it been for you to get into the women's game and schools and devote so much of your time to that?
I will say it's hard, because I'm not getting the feedback I get on the men's side. I mean, I'll just come out and say it, right? Like, I don't even know, to be quite honest, when I talk about the women's game or any of the games where I do the game notes or I even do the top 25. So I'm not sure anybody is interested because in the women's side of the game, because I get literally zero. I get literally zero. I get, you know, some of the coaches I've spoken to have said, oh, they're, you know, tuned in, obviously, and really interested. But outside of that, the coaches I try to do, like, I don't hear from parents. I don't hear from players. I don't hear from fans.
Actually, honestly, I'm embarrassed to admit, I don't even know if you post on the women's threads on that board.
I used to, but I was the only one, and so I just stopped. Like you literally go there. You can, when you're typing, you can almost like hear the echo of your typing because there's nothing going on other than you typing, right? Like so.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a condition of the women's game, the support, the website. I just don't know. But I keep plugging at it because there's some really good soccer that gets played there. Like, again, I also think what makes it hard is that, you know, the men, if you watch the men for a season, you kind of see, like, you know, that strength of schedule is a big, big deal for the men. Much bigger than I think I'm not saying it's not important, but on the women's side, they don't load up on strength of schedule stuff early in the season. So early season games, there's some good ones, but there's not as many on the men's side, right? Like, so.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to, I mean, to me, that was like, I thought when you did that, I thought, oh my God, this is like super ambitious that you could pull all, I mean, that's a lot of material to.
Yeah. It's a lot of games. Like, we got to talk. Maybe I'll come to your house and I'll lie down on that couch and we could have a therapy session and you could help me. Because
Well, I
I
hope
sit
you're
here.
a therapist.
Oh, well, you do something with psychology, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. All right, what's your game?
So, well, I have a game on Friday that I want to watch, which is, again, it's a normal standard name. Actually, two. Trinity at Southwestern.
Yep,
the
I got
Pirates.
that one.
I want to watch Oglethorpe at Shawnee. That's awesome. Let us be clear to everyone who is still tuned in at this point and doesn't think we're crazy. We don't.
Don't worry. Nobody's tuned in.
No, we don't coordinate beforehand. We literally say, hey, when the day that works, and then we meet up, and your notes are different than mine, and we never talk. So yeah. Anyhow,
And so you don't think they're saying, oh, that's why it sucks.
I'm sure they're like, man, I just wasted do they give my time back? I'm just running through the list of games on Saturday now. And I am going to the one. That could be a good one. But I've been saying it all along. Okay, here's a game. Here's a game I'm going to watch. And I probably say it as well. A lot. Gettysburg at Muhlenberg. Because Muhlenberg in the United Soccer Coaches poll is ranked
22.
22. And I'm asking myself, how is it that they're ranked 22?
Yeah.
So I am going to watch because I'm like, I cannot see them being 22. And I think Gettysburg is pretty good.
Yeah,
then-
Dickinson and Gettysburg always seem like exactly the same team. Like they're hard to like.
Yeah, that's very true. The Kane Stockton one, like I always say, it's an NJAC game, so they're going to pick, they're going to decide before the game whether they could use clubs, knives, or brass knuckles. And then once they figure that out, we'll see what kind of game it's going to be.
Oh, you just reminded me. Last question. And maybe you can take this to the next episode. Like, I wanted you to do a breakdown of the OAC. Because sometimes when I think of OAC, it's only been this year, I think, it's like, oh, they have maybe some similarities with the Sunyak and NJAC. And OAC is a pretty tough league.
It is. Very, very.
Yeah.
And only getting better. It'll take some time, especially Muskingum, which has been historically, I don't know how to say this in a way that doesn't offend, because I
How about this? They ruin Kenyon's SOS every single year.
You said it, not me.
And I was so glad we didn't play them this year.
So guess what? The head coach there was a former assistant at Ohio Wesleyan. And he took over at Muskingum, and Muskingum is in the process, and I will say this about football and about the men's and women's soccer and all their athletics, they basically made a commitment to athletics. So you should see this facility they built around their stadium. They have a soccer-only facility, soccer lacrosse. So I think it's just a matter of time before they come up and make it even a harder league.
Who's the coach that was the OU assistant?
Corey Kirk. I should know this.
I can look it up.
Fighting Muskies.
Yeah, they're the Fighting Muskies, right?
Correct. Fighting Muskies. Great people. I have nothing, like, seriously, that's one of the places, that and Marietta, another OAC school, that if I had guys and gals that were looking and wanted to play and were looking for a small school, like, I would have no problem recommending them to, obviously if it's the level and all, I'd have no problem recommending them to go there, because I think I think both schools are really neat places. So yeah, Corey Kirk. Got it. Former Ohio Wesleyan. You put that sweatshirt back on.
Don't worry, I will as soon as this show's over.
All right. Let me see. Oh, the games. I do want to see Claremont Mud Scripps against Pomona Pitzer on Saturday. That's another good one. Just because I said it, Caltech at Cal Lutheran, I think would be very good. Another NESCAC, another NJAC. Rutgers Newark at Rowan.
Yeah.
That could be a good one. And
yeah,
then,
Newark and Camden have been down. I haven't looked in a week or two, but
no, they I don't know what's going on there, but Camden was really good for those few years. I think they made it to the Final Four.
They all Messiah barely beat them like in double OT in the final. 2012. 2013.
And then
They beat Ohio Northern in 2012.
And then, here's a game on Sunday. There's two games, and they're all in Tejas. Colorado College at St. Thomas.
And Trinity, Texas Lutheran.
Yeah, like those look like handsome games, if you ask me. Handsome games. Wow. You know what? I know this is terrible, but let me see. I Next one, I am going to watch and talk about. Let me see. I am going to look at one of these three schools, and I am going to watch some of their games because I feel like they never get the attention. Was it Northern Vermont University, Linden, York?
Oh my God! They just
City?
lost to MCLA like 12-0, and MCLA is not very good.
Yeah, York and of City University, Medgar Evers, Maranatha Baptist. Yeah, so I'm gonna look at watch some of those. That might. I'm gonna watch. I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try. Sometimes I will say it's funny. It's like part of the problem is sometimes the video is so bad. Like I've gotten so. Yeah, it's such a first world problem. I can't watch a stream if it's not up to my standards. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. All right, what else you got? Anything?
No, I'm good. I can close with one lightning rounder.
Okay.
Except I lost all my stuff. Oh. Okay, I'm going to give you two quick ones.
Right.
Mannix, Colombo, or Barnaby Jones. If you never watched any of those, I'm never asking another question again. You can pass.
What was the other one? Dr. Quinn, MD? No.
Oh, there was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Okay, how about
I was more of a Kolchak guy.
Oh, Kojak.
Yeah, no, not Kojak. Kolchak.
Oh.
Kojak, wrong guy. He was like the paranormal detective. You've never. Oh my God, Mr. Petru.
Yeah, I can't. You're into paranormal. I can't go that way. That's too scary. How about? Okay, Flintstones, the Jetsons, or Batman?
Flintstones, Jetsons, or Batman? Batman the cartoon?
Yes, Batman and Robin.
And Robin.
The TV show.
The TV show, Alan West.
Yes.
So I'm a big fan of that, but I'm also a big fan of the Jetsons, and I was to a lesser extent the Flintstones.
Oh, I thought you might be too young for the Jetsons.
No, I was a big fan.
That goes
of the
pretty
Jetsons.
far back.
Yeah. Kolchak,
and then
Kolchak the Night Stalker.
That's too. I can't.
1970. It was so popular. It was only around for a year.
Oh my God.
Carl Kolchak. Right. He's a reporter. Anyhow.
Gun to your head. Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie?
I was always I Dream of Jeannie guy.
That's Barbara Eden versus Elizabeth Montgomery.
Yeah. I Dream of Jeannie. I still dream of Jeannie.
Do you think like half the people like watching this are like, what? I've never even heard of half of these things.
We have to talk about Friends and some L.A. Law. Which again,
I watched
dark,
L.A. Law
dark,
back in the day.
I have one last question for you. This is a poll question.
Yeah.
Kenyan owls or Kenyan lords and ladies?
How's that a poll question?
It's not a poll question. It's kind of like Polish. It's kind of like, it's like poll-ish type question. Like you got to choose.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I never really knew what the lords and ladies really meant, and I guess.
What does the owl mean?
In the atmosphere now, I could see the little, whatever. But the owl, that wouldn't have been my pick. So I'm not a huge fan of that. The only other team I know that is an owl, I think, is Keene State in New Hampshire.
Yeah. Wait, who else with the owl? No, there's a lot of Cardinals.
Yeah.
the bird motif. There's a lot of cardinals, right?
Yeah.
I think not owls.
Falcons.
Owls are falcons. That's another big one.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Petru. I don't know about you, but the two people who are going to watch this, me and you, had a blast actually making this. So
We did, and I think as a caveat, you should let people know what time of night we did this. Just
oh yes, so
give us a little break.
So we started recording maybe around 9:15 ish after a soccer game, and you after going out buying an Ohio Wesleyan sweatshirt and then an Amherst t-shirt. Yeah. So, hey, we'll be back at it a couple weeks. I'll do a rundown of the OAC. That's my takeaway, so that next week we're a little bit more, I don't know, organized. So I'll do an OAC breakdown.
Okay. Excellent.
That work, and then you figure the rest out. That's your turn.
All right.
All right, brother.
Yep.
All right, buddy.